again, friends. I'm OG Pickle here with another eFuse exclusive, chatting with none other than Ethan Baxter. He's the head coach of the University of Missouri Tigers Rocket League team. We're excited to talk fast rotations and even faster routes to Rocket League championships. I was talking to Kevin earlier. I said we're unable to share this convo at the 1839 kitchen on campus of the Baja Grill, but it's good to see you regardless. How you doing today, Ethan?
I'm doing all right. How about you guys?
Not too bad, hanging in there as best we can, but excited to talk Collegiate Rocket League with you. I'm excited about Mizzou. I'm excited to talk all things Rocket League, so let's kick this off. First of all, congratulations on an awesome season, dude. It's been a pleasure to see you guys compete. It's been a pleasure to see someone of a much larger school, I would say, where they've focused on traditional sports as well, kind of come up through the rankings and be able to compete on a much larger level. Harnessing some of the best players in the country, can you talk to me about the season, what you're proud of as a coach right now?
You know, what I'm really proud of is just kind of the growth of the team this semester. We came in here, we got 2 new freshmen to our university. They ended up being starters on our team. Incredibly skilled players. They have shown so much growth and so much potential, and we're just so excited, you know, to finish out this national championship and then just looking forward to the future. We just think the future's bright here at Mizzou.
I've got to level with you. You talked about 2 freshmen coming in there. What's it like as a head coach having to harness younger talent on an esports roster? What's the growth process for you like internally? And 2, is it even tougher having to harness freshmen in a time when you really can't be like right next to them all the time?
It's pretty tough. You know, it's a challenge. It can be a challenge, you know, without the current, you know, setting that the times we find ourselves in. But it's incredibly rewarding to work with these players and to kind of help them grow as both players and as professionals in the academic setting and the esports setting, and also see their personal growth. You know, it's just a lot of fun, really rewarding, and I love what I do.
Yeah, I mean, you have to love what you do, obviously, going through a brand new kind of concept being launched in that of esports, and especially collegiate esports. I want to know a little bit more about where this pride comes from. What's a day in the life of an collegiate esports coach look like? Like, what do you wake up and do? What's your routine currently?
Sure. Well, like most people in the esports field right now, in terms of like the collegiate space, this isn't like a full-time job for me. This is a volunteer basis. So during the day, I'm actually a vet student about to finish up veterinary school. So I'll be graduating in 5 short months here. So my day-to-day I go to the morning, go to the hospital, do whatever clinical rotation I'm on, and then when I end my service that day, I go home and, you know, I work on esports, spend time with family and the pets, and that's kind of the majority of the whole day. And then, you know, when we get home, we work on grinding the team. We find scrims, we set up matches, we look at replay analysis, all kinds of stuff.
You know, you say that, but I think a lot of people watching don't realize this is a volunteer basis. I think honestly, we're kind of a window into what esports is becoming and its legitimacy, but I don't think a lot of people actually know that it's a volunteer basis. I think they probably thought it's a program. You probably have your 9 to 5 and you go home. So to hear that you're doing that on the side and also creating a world-class Rocket League team is actually pretty inspiring. How many hours would you say per day you dedicate to the team outside of just your studies and obviously family and friends? Like, what's that look like?
Sure. You know, it probably averages around 2 to 3 hours a day, depending on the day and what we have going on. So it becomes almost, you know, as much as what you would get from a part-time job, but it's really rewarding. And when you're doing something, you know, that you love, it doesn't really seem like work. So,
you know what? That's people can probably take a note. Keep that somewhere for later. If it doesn't feel like work, if it's a true passion. I like that. Channeling the passion over to Collegiate Rocket League. Talk to me about this season. What have you been proud of your players, specifically in the Rocket League facet?
Sure. So kind of at the beginning of the season, we had a couple tough losses, but no one was really paying attention. But for, you know, with our two freshmen that we had in here, all those losses were coming off of games that were on stream. And, these were streamed games that had, thousands. One of the Rocket League streams, or a couple of them, had 30 some thousand people watching. And when you take in true freshmen that really haven't had any experience of being on a stream and having this many people watch them do something, that can take a toll. So just really seeing that growth in the players, continuing to be on stream and kind of getting over the emotions that follow with that. It was really incredible to see it just all kind of click right before we had playoffs, and they just started, living up to the potential even on stream. It's just incredible.
Yeah, I mean, experience is everything there when you finally get up to the big stages. It's going to be another big stage on January 7th and 8th. We know that. A lot of great teams coming to this. Can you talk to me about some of the strengths that you're going to bring to these championships? What's going to set Mizzou apart or ultimately catapult them to a victory?
I think what's going to help us really succeed is not only do we put the time in and, scrimming and making sure that everyone's improving individually, but we do a lot of work off the field in terms of making sure everyone's in the right headspace, making sure that we're all gaining knowledge of the game itself. And that comes from just discussions of gameplay all the way through going through replay analysis of specific teams to, looking at even teams that are above our level and the RLCS level, kind of analyzing how they do things and then seeing how we can improve that into our gameplay. So doing things like that just kind of gives us a little bit of an edge, because I don't know that other teams, since they aren't varsity programs, really go through that extra effort to really improve.
Yeah, I mean, a lot can be said, whether you're a player, a coach, or a program, of benchmarking the things you like, the things you don't like, and kind of implementing the good out with the bad, or the things that are become non-applicable. I think that speaks volumes to the type of awareness you bring. I also love that you talked about the mental health on the side, making sure, because at the end of the day, these are kids. We're running rocket-propelled cars through dopamine-infused kind of craziness. So it's important to know that you're taking care of your players as well. Speaking of, are there any players, I know there's no IN team. We never want to separate the team aspect from something like Rocket League, but are there any players that are getting hot right now that you want to speak about? You talked about your two freshmen that are on the team, but are there any players that come immediately to your mind that's getting hot at the right time as you're heading toward January 7th and 8th?
I'm really excited about every single one of our players going into January. All of these players, going into, we competed in things like the Maui Invitational, where our freshmen truly shined in that, and they really started to kind of get into their stride. And then, looking at the playoffs, and then the Play Versus League that we did as well, everything's kind of clicking together, and everyone's going to have their moment. Really, really excited to see these players each have their own moments, and it's just going to hopefully give us some really good results here in a few weeks.
You got a good heart. I love hearing it. It's always about the players. That's a good sign of a good coach. Let me ask you straight up, though. Is there anyone you want to pick off, though? When you're going through this championship series, is there a school you're looking forward to trying to pick off to kind of take one home for yourself, though?
Sure. I think we really have our eyes on Northwood.
Okay, there we go. I love the lovey-dovey stuff, but we got to hear who's you at the dinner table. He's talking to the family. He's like, I want to go after Northwood. Let's hear about that.
So how everything recently has been seeded in all of these leagues and playoffs and tournaments, for whatever reason, we keep getting matched up against Northwood in either the quarterfinals or the semifinals in all these events. And we're here taking games off of them. And, when we look back at the brackets, we don't see other teams taking games off them. So we've been putting in a lot of work, studying, analyzing what they do, and trying to figure out how we can improve our play to exploit their weaknesses. And I think that we're getting really close to just having it click, and they're who we have our sights on right now.
I like it. As much as Rocket League is a game of rotations, it's also a game of chess in a way. You have to be strategic about each and every move, each and every attack, each and every defense. So I really like what I'm hearing from Missouri from a third party. They're not talking about bullish, crazy high flying goals. They're talking about I'm gonna move A, B, C while you're looking the other way. So that's great. Let me ask you this final question: what do you think is gonna happen on January 7th and 8th? Point blank. We know you're going after Northwood. How you feeling about your team going into it?
The team's looking great. Practice is going well. We're all in a really great space right now mentally. Everyone's feeling great that finals are over. We've all taken a couple days off to spend time with family. We're getting back into things, and we're excited, ready to just dominate.
I'm excited for you guys. Thanks for taking the time to speak with us. That's the University of Missouri Tigers. They're competing on some Rocket League action on January 7th and 8th. You guys can tune in. Ethan, thanks for taking the time to speak with us. Appreciate you being here.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate the interview.